Hey guys, welcome back to the video. In today's video, I'm with Soumi Datta. She's from IIT Delhi. She did her MBA from ISB. She worked for JP Morgan, Deloitte, and now she works for MasterCard in Singapore. Thanks a lot, Soumi, for joining in.
It's great to be here.
Today, we'll just be answering a couple of questions about MBA, right? Like a lot of people keep talking about MBA. Is it worth it? Is it worth the high fee? Things like that. So just to clear things out, who do you think should be doing an MBA? Like what type of person is the ideal person to do an MBA?
A lot of people think of MBA in their third year of college, but is that really the right way to go about it? Number one, I feel like if you are able to clear like a tier one college right at the end of your third year or fourth year, I think you can opt for an MBA at that stage if it's a tier one college. But if not, then my recommendation to students would really be to start working or doing something of your own and trying to get a little more clarity on, do you really need an MBA or not? And so if you're technically sound, then I feel like you should definitely explore your technicals and be satisfied by it and gain all the skills that you have to, and think of an MBA only when you think you are ready to move to the management side, or if ever you think that you need to move to the management side.
Got it. That's interesting. A lot of people in their fourth year debate between going for a master's versus going for MBA. So how would that person decide?
Masters versus MBA, right? So masters is a very natural progression from your undergrad, because if you are really enjoying what you have learned in your 3 or 4 years of college, only then you should think about masters, because it's going to be a natural next step for you to build on what you have learned, and then it will also help you get a job in your area of interest. Versus, since in India, a lot of people naturally go towards these fields like engineering, which they usually don't think about. I feel like by third or fourth year, you would already know whether you want to continue in your field or not. If not, then I think you should definitely think about MBA, because it helps you get a reset. Like whatever you have learned, it doesn't matter anymore after you have done your MBA, because you can easily shift careers or like shift what you have chosen previously. So that's how I honestly think about MBA. Plus, like I think I addressed it before as well, a little bit of work ex before MBA always helps to understand what your interests are, and then you will be able to better justify your MBA 1 or 2 years as well. You will be able to focus on what is it that you are most interested in. You will know yourself better. You will be much more aware. But masters, I feel like you can definitely go right after college as well, because you have already used those 3 or 4 years to get a sense of whether you really like that course or not.
Now, there's a stark difference of colleges providing MBA, right? On one hand, you have ISB, IIMs, SPGen giving amazing placements after MBA, and then you have other colleges which are just like one building and giving out MBA certificates. Is it even worth to do an MBA from such a college which just has like a building, or a tier three
Hmm.
college, as people call it?
Hmm. What the tier one colleges are really giving you is, it's giving you a branding. If you have made it to one of these tier one colleges, people can take it as a face value that, okay, so this guy is sincere. He has worked hard at some point of time to be here, which is why, when companies hire from these colleges, they sort of know that these people are credible. And that's a huge thing that a branding sort of gives you, a tier one branding. And the next and the most important thing, tier one college, be it MBA or non-MBA, gives you is the peer group that it comes with. And when you are sort of staying with a set of really good people, you start thinking alike, you have similar kind of ambitions. So that sort of aligns, which is a big benefit of being from a tier one business school. Now, if you talk about the tier two business schools, I would say that you can go for them, but only if you think that you need that business knowledge, right? But why that is not a good way to think about, in my opinion, is because that's a very expensive way of getting knowledge. There are so many other ways these days. There are online courses. If you really need just that knowledge, then there are so many other ways to mitigate that gap. what rather you need from a MBA school, especially when you are paying so much money, is the peer group, the network, the kind of credibility that it comes with. Which is why, honestly, I would not say go for an MBA from a tier 2 school. You are much better off learning additional skills in other ways than going to a tier 2, not tier 2, but like tier 3 and the other business schools.
My final question would be, is it worth spending 35 lakhs plus on things on colleges like ISB and IIMs? Is the return on investment as much as where it is? And can you like pay it back real quick?
So this is like a legit question, and it does get asked quite a lot. So I think ISB, for instance, is about 35 lakhs, more than 35 lakhs for 1 year. For IIMs, it's much lesser. I think about 22 lakhs for 2 years. So the per year investment is lesser. However, in terms of ROI, I would still say that the ROI is very, very high. I mean, I know for a fact that most of my friends have been able to pay back their loan, even coming from ISB, which is quite a lot, in max 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, I mean, people would typically get a salary of 20 on an average very easily after doing an MBA from these kind of schools, and if not more than that, basically. So you are definitely able to pay off in like 2 to 3 years, and whatever you are earning after, your earnings are also going to like drastically grow, right? It's going to have a network effect. So definitely return of investment is higher. One thing I definitely want to call out over here is that Indian MBA is still much cheaper than international MBA, for instance, right? International MBA, if you go to a Harvard or a Stanford, it's not going to cost you anything less than 1 crore. And this was like a few years back when I was doing my research. It's probably a lot more now. So when you are making a decision on whether to do an MBA from India or outside India, I do let people know to keep in mind that if you are going outside, it will be very difficult for you to come back and earn in Indian rupees and be able to pay off that loan. But if you are okay to stay in India, then it's a good idea to do it from Indian business schools. Now, Indian business schools are not as renowned outside. So if you are doing your like MBA from India with an aspiration to instantly move outside the country, that will probably not happen. If that is your aspiration, then you are better off doing an MBA from outside. At the same time, if you want to continue staying in India, you should never think of an MBA outside, because it'll just be a huge financial burden on you.
Got it. So if you want to do a foreign MBA, then A, should be able to afford it, and B, you should be working outside, because in India, the salary might be low. Yeah. But if you're doing an MBA from India, then it's definitely worth the ROI. But in some cases, that might not be recognized outside. Do every management roles require an MBA?
Honestly, not really. But MBA degree definitely helps in making the jump from like the technical side to the management side a little faster. Because what will happen is, if let's take the example of a product, or like in the tech side, right? If you join as a developer or a business analyst, naturally after like 7 or 8 years, you will come to a people management kind of a role. You will probably even be able to move to a product management kind of a role in a few more years. But what will happen if you do an MBA is you'll be able to reduce like 3 or 4 years. What will happen? You will be able to use your technical skills in the first 3 or 4 years, whatever you have learned. Then you get those sort of accelerate your career during that 1 or 2 years of MBA by learning the business skills and move directly towards the management side.
Got it. So even if you get a normal technical job, it might take 7 years to reach a people management job. But if you do an MBA, it might cut short like 3-4 years of that.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But also an MBA, I mean, a lot of people also do MBA to just reset their career, because they don't really want to be on whatever they're doing at the moment at all. So that's a big benefit of MBA. So if you can drastically shift your career and directly move to the management side. And it doesn't only have to be a like a people management role, but
Mm.
also maybe product management or consulting or banking or all those kind of businessy things.
The concluding question: how do you apply to business schools? What's the process?
It's a different process for different business schools.
Okay.
If I talk about
Let's just
the
talk about the
Indian
top
business
ones. Yeah, ISB,
for
IIMs.
India, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So IIM, you have to give CAT, and CAT usually has a huge percentage, not a percentage, but like a huge weightage in your overall application process. So CAT score is going to be very important, and then they're going to look at how many years of work experience you have, and then they're going to look at the other things like leadership and other like general profile building stuff if you have or not. For ISB, it's slightly different because in ISB, there's a huge focus on diversity, on like what kind of an overall package you bring for yourself, which is why GMAT is just one of the parameters that you are being judged against. But at the same time, you need to have like a good overall story to tell through the essays, through your recommendations. You should be able to bring something unique to the batch whenever you are sort of joining.
Got it. Thanks a lot for doing this. I'm pretty sure people got some value out of it and cleared almost every question possible you can ask about MBA. Thanks for doing it again.
No worries. It was really lovely sharing my wisdom on MBA here.